Hello and welcome to our webinar topic on rent increases as we step you through the recent tenancy law changes. My name is Lynn Smith, a part of the education team at the RTA. The RTA respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which we meet today and where you are joining us as well, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. The RTA's core function is to administer Queensland tenancy laws, and while we do not write the legislation, our role is to help parties understand their rights and obligations under the Residential Tenancies and Rooming Accommodation Act 2008. We're an independent statutory body and our services include our contact centre, our free dispute resolution service, and as the Queensland rental regulator for more than 30 years, we also undertake proactive and reactive monitoring and enforcement actions to uphold and enforce compliance with the rental laws. We hold and manage rental bonds, and we also provide education through various channels and work with our sector stakeholder groups. Let's have a look at the rental reform journey. It commenced with stage 1 as part of the Housing Legislation Amendment Act 2021. This was actually implemented in a staged approach during 2022 through to 2024. We also saw changes to rent increase frequency in July 2023. The Residential Tenancies and Rooming Accommodation and Other Legislation Amendment Act 2024 bill was introduced into Parliament in March. The bill then was passed and noted that during the parliamentary process there were some minor changes made to the bill before it was passed. The bill is now the Act, which commenced on the 6th of June 2024. Some changes are in place now and started on assent on the 6th of June, while others will start on proclamation, and that date is yet to be advised. For today, we are just focusing on the rent increase legislation changes, which commenced on the 6th of June 2024. If we have a look at the legislation, before 1 July 23, the minimum period for rent increase frequency was 6 months. This was then changed to a 12-month frequency timeframe. From the 6th of June 2024, that 12-month timeframe is now attached to the rental premises, not the individual tenancies. We're going to be stepping you through some examples shortly to show you how this works. Before we keep going, we'll just have a look at what those amendments were that started on the 6th of June 2024. So again, the 12-month period is attached to the rental premises, not the individual tenancies, and that will continue to apply even if there's a change of managers or owners or tenants. There are exemptions to the 12-month minimum period before rent can be increased. The legislation outlines an exempt lessor or agent or provider, which includes public housing, and in most cases, community housing providers. To give you an example in the Act, it includes a lessor who receives funding under the Housing Act 2003 or under the Community Services Act 2007, or is a replacement lessor under a community housing provider tenancy agreement. The Act outlines the definition of an exempt lessor, so if you believe you or your organisation falls into this category, then please check the Act. If a tenant does feel the rent increase is excessive, there is a process that they can follow and details are available on the RTA's website. The written tenancy or rooming agreement must state the date of the last rent increase. As always, you are encouraged to ensure the latest version of the RTA forms are used. To give you an example of the rent increase, item 7 has been updated in asking the question on what date was the last rent increase. We also note that when lodging a bond with the RTA, our Form 2 bond lodgement form or through our RTA web services will ask you the same question for when the rent was last increased. The next part of the rent increase is that a tenant may request evidence of the day of the last rent increase, and the property manager or owner must provide this within 14 days of the request. Some of the examples provided in the Act include a copy of the previous tenancy agreement, written increase notice, or a rental ledger. Now, if you're providing any of these documents, you need to make sure you are removing or de-identifying any personal information about another person first. For this section, there is an exemption which refers to the previous lessor exemption. However, it does go one step further and also mentions that if the property has been purchased within the last 12 months and there is no evidence to provide, then an owner or a manager are exempt from providing the evidence. Again, in this particular section, there are penalty units that do apply. Now, a property manager or owner may apply to QCAT for permission to increase the rent within 12 months on the grounds of undue hardship. This would be up to the owner to provide their evidence and information as part of their application. It's also noted in this section that in deciding, the tribunal must have regard to any representation made by the tenant in relation to affordability of the premises and ability to continue to pay rent. So there is a two-part to this particular process. This section is being classified as a non-urgent application process, so an application will need to be made to the RTA's Free Dispute Resolution Service process first to get a notice of unresolved dispute before proceeding to QCAT. Look, we know it's a lot to take in and we appreciate your time today. We do have resources to help you navigate these changes, including frequently asked questions on our website. The RTA does provide a lot of information through various channels, not just our website, but through our YouTube videos, podcasts, or you can sign up for our e-news or follow us on LinkedIn. Our friendly contact centre staff can also assist you with your tenancy or bond inquiries Monday to Friday on 1300 366 311. Great. Thanks everyone for watching us, and we hope to see you at one of our upcoming webinars or in person at one of our information sessions across Queensland. Details of our events can be found on the RTA's website at rta.qld.gov.au/events. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon. The webinar will now end.